Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. And, I hope so far it is everything that you have been wanting it to be. Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn, and part of the end of the year fun was playing, instead of Where's Waldo, Where's Shawn? Made you do a little homework for that. But again, holiday schedules are always difficult, and I apologize completely if it caused you any consternation to try to find me and I wasn't there, and then also with no message. But like I said, it's a small team, and when someone missing from that team, we all fall apart. No. So my apologies. And like I said, though, last show, that if I'm not where you expect me to be, just wait a little bit longer and I will appear. So keep checking back. Now, as far as things planned, also going to be here the following Monday. So things are going to move on as usual, and I hope I make it worthwhile every single show. This, indeed, another really exciting one, because one of the things that we're not going to do, because of the way the holiday schedule, I'm actually recording this show a day early, and with the show, the last show that you just watched, dropping a day late. It puts the two so close together. Well, there wasn't even any, very few comments, like very few. And then also no trivia answers. So that pretty much answers that, doesn't it? So we'll see if we can't pick up where we left off next week, because what I probably won't do is I probably won't do a trivia question in this show, and we'll just use the one from the last show in the next show. You got that? All right, so again, lots of exciting things planned for you today. I hope that your holiday has been, everything, again, that you want it to be, and that, whether you were on the good list or the naughty list, I hope either way that you, something good happens for you. Doesn't always have to be a present, does it? No, it doesn't. And, it's funny. Like I said, growing up, when, Charlie Brown would get, a rock, in his, be it Halloween bag or Christmas, for Christmas or whatever, and it was supposed to be a bad thing. It was funny. I always viewed that differently, which made me kind of an oddball. Of course, I stood out as the nerd anyway. And but getting a rock would be just, you can't go wrong. Like Raven said, there's no such thing as an ugly rock. And again, if you ever wanted to, the perfect gift, when people ask you if they're going on a trip, and how many times have we been asked, oh, what can I bring you back? Well, I always had one of the easiest answers ever. And I always said, a rock. Just bring me back a rock. The only thing is remember exactly where it was that you got it. Remember, provenance and origin, always very important, no matter what it may be. And so decades ago, I started this. So everything from my doctor to relatives to the oddest of people have sent me or given me these rocks that have come from some of the most remote areas across the globe. And I thought that was always really a great thing, because it never cost anybody anything, and it's not something that it's not like it's coming from Mars, where you have to any alien organisms growing on it or declare it or anything. So it's just a little treasure from different corners of the globe that I would never normally have the opportunity to get to, but all of you have, and it may not be your passion, but it's certainly easy enough to stoop down and pick up a rock for someone else, knowing that you can't go wrong, because any rock is a great rock. And, as long as collected legally and responsibly, right? I have been, and I was telling a story again to someone else the other day, of course, through the Petrified Wood National Forest in Arizona. And if you, as a rock hound, have never taken a trip anywhere, or if you really want a rock hound's paradise trip, go from one end of that, I guess maybe they call it a national monument, to the other. And you're going to go step back in time, 250 million years back, and into another era. You will find, monstrous petrified wood logs of the finest and rarest of colors. And there was one I remember. It would make the most ethical of a person question your motives, because it had these multi-yellows and reds and orange for the petrified wood, but the center was hollow, and in the hollowed out section of the center were amethyst crystals growing. I mean, it was but inside the inside the ranger or the park office building, whatever, was a cabinet with the letters attached, where people had, because petrified wood is everywhere. I told you, though, I brought back petrified wood. It was when we did a driver change on driving on I-10 through Arizona, and when I stepped out, there was petrified wood alongside this, the side of the interstate everywhere. I mean, in other words, so when they built the interstate through, they cut, which, geologically, if you look, it is in line with the petrified wood deposit. And so I was just picking up as many pieces as I could, and I'm giving some away as free items here in this show, collected by Shawn, indeed. But this, in this cabinet were all kinds of small pieces of petrified wood that, with the letters attached, saying how the bad luck that people had from after taking these pieces illegally from the park. And of course, that's the idea the park wants to instill, is that, bad things will happen, bad karma, if you take, and it should. If everyone took a piece out of the park every time they went through there and came out, then there wouldn't be much park left. So that's fine, and I'm glad it works. And I'm glad to see people also comment that as soon as they return the rock, their life got better and improved and all that. So, that's called bad karma either way, by taking something from a place you shouldn't. There's plenty of wonderful places, and I've even shown, Dave, cameraman, and he looks at rivers now totally different, and he has brought back and found amazing garnet specimens and moonstones, and if you're not looking for them, you're not going to find them. So, okay, so no trivia. We'll pick that up, and we'll read a couple of the comments, which that's all there are, and then we're going to get to. We're going to get to some fantastic things. And there's a couple of kind of show and tell items that maybe we'll get time to do as well. All right, so starting off here, we have from Miss Barbara, and the ever vigilant Miss Barbara regarding the show. So anyway, she also sent pictures of the Garnet family, done really creatively in and showing the relationship of because remember last show we were talking about how incestuous the Garnet family members are, how they will mix with the others, and you'll get these, like a rhodolite garnet is a 70-30 pyro-almandine mixed garnet, and that's one of the most, well, wait till you see a rhodolite garnet I have to show you today. That's one of the most common ones that people are familiar with, that starts making people realize just how much they do intermingle. So she sent me this really neat diagram of these used with these crystals. I would love to buy one if there was such a one, and I think it was actually real. But I looked, and it was a copyrighted picture, so I wasn't able to show that to you. But it was really neat to see the relationship of the garnet families, and done that way. So very interesting indeed. So she titled it "Naughty Garnet Relationships." And remember, Malaya garnet is the example I used last week, and you can look that up for, or just watch last week's show for the Swahili interpretation of the word and why they named it that way. Hi, Professor. It's 11 p.m. Monday and no show, nor message in the community tab on the YouTube page. Just got finished with my Gem Geek Zoom, and we were all wondering if someone forgot to post your show, or even if one was recorded. Just kindly give us a heads up, if you can, of what to expect over this busy holiday season. If we don't see you, then let me take the opportunity to wish you and yours a merry and healthy Christmas, as well as a happy and prosperous New Year. Miss Barbara. Harry in Pennsylvania says, well, hello, Shawn and the lovely Raven and the 8 tiny reindeer, working hard behind the scenes, and all the helpers in Stone. Merry Christmas. Actually, I'm going to say it. Happy birthday, baby Jesus, my only reason for the season. Now, first, I have to say, don't get me wrong, absolutely, I want my amethyst, especially larger gems, definitely to have nice zoning, don't get me wrong, just no cracks and splits. Tourmaline, emerald, corundum, some sphene, garnet, sure, cracks are accepted, but I can't do this with my quartz. Now, that's my story, I'm sticking to it all. Good. Why did I know you did that as well with a magnet on the TV? Shawn, when you said it is about an accident in my, when you said it, I about had an accident in my pants laughing too hard. Man, I tell you, we are so alike in so many ways. I'm so happy that dang Ruby is back where it belongs, and you better cry. Man, never do that again. I am so happy for you, Shawn. I truly am in my own tears. You do not want an encounter with the saber, trust me. You'll be emotionally scarred. Run away if you get that hair standing up on the back of your neck and the woods go silent. Whoopee! Pick up some of the Madeira nuggets for me. Nice prize. Welcome, Joseph. Congrats. Yes, in reference to me talking about Sasquatch and all the other names it goes by. I have to admit, if one of those movies comes up, I don't care how campy it might be, I will watch a Yeti or, any of those Sasquatch. I just want to believe that there's something left undiscovered, Now, I don't believe there is any megalodons left in the ocean, but you know what? I still want to believe there is. And but as far as Sasquatch, only because it has been reported across all those continents over eons of time, going back to the native tribes, is gives me hope that there's something out there that we haven't discovered yet. Okay, so Harry goes on to say, I got a nice, totally natural, even down to the white, crunchy quartz matrix attachment point. Well, I cut it up and almost done with a nice, big citrine, golden emerald cut big stone. Can't wait. I'll send you a pic. Very nice Madeira beauty, modified Portuguese cut. Nice, good prize. Awesome. If I had the loot, I would have it already. I cut a 4+ carat, same color. I have a nice cushion. Cut. I did the coolest cut, hands down to me. Nice emerald pendant, beautiful saturation, looks like 5-point diamonds, pretty. Okay, trivia. All right, so let's see. Since it wouldn't be fair on that, you were the only one that answered the trivia, so you would win by default. So we'll let some more people, I won't give out any answers in this, but we'll let some more people answer the trivia on that one, and then we'll circle back around next show. Miss Sue in Texas says, but thanks for the Merry Christmas wish as well. Miss Sue in Texas, which we haven't heard from in a while, she said, Shawn, I'm still catching up on watching the podcast, but have now listened to most comments. All in our rock group are in my prayers. I'm thankful for each of you, and I'm praying that the new year will be a happy and prosperous one for us all. May God bless you and your family. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania says, happy holidays, Rock Family Shawn. Today's show was amazing. All the grief, financial, and health issues you and Raven have dealt with. And Legionella is very unusual. I bet they reported that to the CDC. Oh, yes, they did. And I even had a conversation with them regarding that. So good karma does exist. Your joy and weight off your shoulders is beaming out to you. I'm so happy you have relief from the stresses you have had to deal with. Good for you both. Trivia envy in full force once again. And trivia answers there as well. So again, we'll hang on to those so that we get some more people involved since the show dropped late. Happy New Year to all in the family. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, where we are going to get hit with single-digit temperatures. Fave of the show was the Moldavite ring. You know what? I looked again at the temperatures just before the show started, and then of course my son's in DC, and then his wife's family is in pretty much South Central Pennsylvania, to the left, to the west of Philadelphia, but it's actually going to be colder here than it is up there. Now granted, it'll be close, but the temperatures here, the low of 9 degrees and a high of 21. Wow. So that's the kind of temperature, and it's going to hold below freezing, they said, for over 2 days. And that's the kind, though, that will and can freeze the water in an engine. And that's when you know you really have to have antifreeze. Make sure. And I say that to mentally help myself, because to remember things, remember you're supposed to write it, read it, say it, spell it, all that stuff. So that I'm doing just to help me remember to put the antifreeze in the truck, because I think we'll actually maybe get to park it for a day or two, and while it's cold, we have our firewood ready to go. And I love to cook in the fireplace. Oh yes, I don't think there's much of anything that I haven't tried to cook in a fireplace. So I cooked pork tenderloin the other day, and it's just like cooking out in a campfire, except more controlled environment, and you get to sit in a comfy chair and watch your favorite horror movie on TV or something, or The Christmas Story. So that's my plans with the wood. And down here, especially where we are, it seems that the power goes out if you sneeze. So in that event that happens, at least we'll have some warmth and a method to cook by. Other than that, you find out just how dependent we are on electricity. Okay, so we're going to save those 2 answers there to make it fair when we get some more on the trivia. And that allows us to get to the show sooner. So we'll be right back with the start of it. All right, so following what I've been showing the last couple of shows, different, unusual, well, goes along with it. I don't think I've had actually a parcel of bar cuts before like this. Now, I know these all match because they came, look at that, look at the color. Now, I have almandine in there. I did a magnet test. Of course, almandine is known as the iron garnet. And if you ever studied one group of gemstones, it's really the garnet group that you need to study. You know, we've covered pyrospites and ugrandites, the overall word and connotation given to a group of garnets that all have calcium, and the pyrospites all being similar, having aluminum. So when the magnet, of course, the neodymium magnet, you know, it was attracted to all these, I knew that there was an iron component. So that would discount these being a straight pyro, which is a magnesium garnet and wouldn't be magnetic, or a hessonite, wouldn't react either. So they had to be some component of almandine. Now, that said, I'm just calling them almandine because potentially, though, they could be, look at those beautiful colors. They could be a pyro-almandine mix and put it, chemically at least, in a rhodolite range. I could easily see these being sold as a rhodolite bracelet. It was a bracelet that the weight of the gold was considerable, and when I did the price of what I would have to charge for the piece, now remember, like I said last show, that when I was growing up, when I had my retail store right in the center of the estate and antique district of Chambly, and this is, you know, decades ago, the idea of estate to me was always, I expected it to be less expensive. But over the years, as the word estate meaning antique, you know, estate basically to me means previously sold, but and to a lot of people's mind it means something old or antique. So the idea of estate jewelry, so much of it, due to the demand and whatnot, the price has just gone up. More so than what you would think. Well, I am bringing it back down to expectations of what someone, me being 61 in my age group, thinks of it something estate. And to me, it means it's a bargain. It should be less than. And so I am going to see if I can't return the original meaning to the word estate through these opportunities I'm offering you now. So, but I was just, look at what a rich color. So bar cut. So you can see why they're just bars cut across the top. It's actually kind of quick and easy to do. If you were faceting, you have less number of faces. But what a really nice, rich color tone to the pieces. And so I know they match because they all came out of the same bracelet. They all came out of the same bracelet. All right, so here we go. Price for the entire lot, meaning all of them, and to cutters like Anthony or Harry and myself, when I say a price like this, and you know, it's really literally something I would have to charge more for one stone due to my time than, you know, what I'm asking for the entire parcel, because the entire parcel opportunity is only, I'm kind of amazed myself, yeah, $34, $2 a carat, $34, and well, that's a deal. That cut and that quality of garnet is in a kind of a different class than many of the other garnets that you would see. So I think that's a really good value if you did nothing but put them in a little jar like so many of my stones and just had them nicely displayed, table up, and just because they're different. Just because it's different. All these years I've been selling all these parcels, I have never, that I can remember, have had a bar cut parcel. parcel. Okay, now, I was actually looking for something. Now, Raven's around, but being the holiday and knowing more people here than I do, she is, you know, doing what the Raven does. So, I can't ask her for it. But now, I want to show you, though, I told you we were going to do maybe a couple other little special interest presentations since we saved a little time on the opening. And one of them was something I wanted to show you. So this is no item number, so if this is just for personal interest. 34 for that whole parcel. Now, we'll just leave the garnets there for a color contrast, just because you know how much I love natural color items, which brings me to the reason I'm going to show you this stone. This is a stone. Remember, I'm getting a lot of things back in this estate that I have had something to do with 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And that's when I was extremely prolific in making custom jewelry and cutting stones and so many wonderful things. Well, this is an aquamarine that I actually took the opportunity to cut, and I modified it and recut it from a poorly cut, larger emerald cut aquamarine. So let me just show you what I did here. And this is a stunning stone. And all right, now what you're seeing is something different because you have the pointed corners. Now, I would normally not recommend, because it's a jeweler's nightmare to set, but I was the jeweler setting it at the time as well. So I left those corners pointed. Now, since I have to recut it, I may actually, for security, cut a flat corner and make it a lot safer. So, because let me show you. Let's see here. I think that was all right. Now, here's the mounting I actually made for it, and it's going to go back in the mounting. So, let me stop the turntable. And so many things like aquamarines, they're not cut to standard sizes. You just cut them for the size that they are. But so I handmade this mounting and the basket. You can see the support wires, and look at the marquees. All that, you know, this is before there was 3D printers and things like that. So you can see the two-tone, white gold heads. And and in the corners, you can see how I drilled and created a V shape down the prong so that the corner of it would fit perfectly. Now, all that worked for many, many years, and I don't think she even noticed until I noticed when I was looking at the ring that apparently along a period of time she hit the outside of the gold prong, and it caused it to split right there. And then I noticed a tiny little nick there as well. So it instantly caused, and that's what is the drawback to leaving a pointed corner in cutting like that. So why I will probably not do that. It looks great from an aesthetic point of view, but over time, if you hit the outside of the prong, it's just like hitting pretty much that pointed corner or dropping the stone on that pointed corner altogether. When you have two corners out of four, let's see if, nope, so 2 out of 4 chipped. Uh-oh. Okay, make that 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 corners chipped. That tells you right there that you don't always do things for the aesthetics of it. But I'm going to show you though what I did. I kept the emerald cut pavilion. And let me show you, though, what I did to the crown, which really brightened it up, is I put like a scissor cut on it. So let me get my little pointer. And so I kept still straight sides, a straight step cut on the first level. But see, this second one, I took and I split into what they call a scissor facet. Same thing on that one, same thing on that one. And it really greatly brightens up the look of the stone. No window to that at all. Now, here's my final comment about what makes this so cool is if you can see the slightly greenish tint to, there we go. Now, you do have to actually look at it through different angles because the color will change. And when you see those slightly greenish, see right there, the slightly greenish tint to the aqua, then you know most likely it has not been heat treated and you're getting the actual original natural color of the crystal. Big stone to have no other internal inclusions. And when I get this all cleaned up and fixed up, one of you, if you're interested, is going to get the opportunity to buy that beauty. And it'll be a one of the rare, again, pieces that I not only will have custom made the mounting for, but also cut the stone for. And so, again, a piece like that today I probably wouldn't even make or have anymore. So reaching back in time allows you to be able to get one of those custom made by Shawn and custom cut by Shawn. Stone and ring opportunity. So look forward to that going down the road, and just thought I'd let you know and let you see what can happen behind a prong. So when I tell you, when I say something isn't user friendly by way of a mounting design or a particular stone cutting, it's things like that is why I say that. In other words, it makes for a great clean line look with those pointed corners. But the reality of it, when you have 3 out of 4 chipping over time, then yeah, you have a flaw in the machine. Okay, let's look at next item. We have 1082322, 1082322, and let me get the machine up and running here. And look at this. One of my really probably favorite minerals overall, believe it or not, because it is so well known, and all the different forms it comes in and all the other different minerals it's found associated with really makes pyrite a world-renowned stone. It may be oftentimes the very first stone a little boy hears about is fool's gold. And then a little bit more maybe about pyrite. Of course, pyrite meaning fire, and that name going back to the days of the flintlock, where it took a spark, a fire, to ignite the powder, the little ignition powder. So I have shot antique, remake reproductions of flintlocks and those type of guns. Flintlock, okay, flint, that's being part of the key. And of course, flint we know produces a spark, of course, and how you can get fires started, and pyrite will as well, hitting pyrite together. So it's funny, when you shoot one of these, you first have to have the spark that ignites this small amount of powder, which then ignites the greater amount of powder that's in the bore where the musket ball may lie. And all that has to work in regardless of weather conditions. And that's why all the sayings come from, keep your powder dry, and all these spin-off sayings that have been handed down over the years, meaning, of course, something very practical at the time, but something totally different now because it's not, a literal sense of the meaning, keeping your powder dry. But it all goes back to sulfur, saltpeter, nitrates. So natural substances from Mother Earth, and then natural flint or pyrite to get it all going. So it is all reliant on Mother Nature, and then not only just Mother Nature, because Mother Nature could be trees and wood, right? No, we're talking about rocks and minerals and elements. And for good or bad, it, straight from the ground these elements was the ability to create enormous weaponry and cannons and on down the line, just the way they could gather the items. So pretty interesting. So this is a fantastic specimen. It has these wonderful quartz crystals. We're going to do some sale pricing as well, being that it is the last show of the year for us. So the Wansala mine, one of the world's most famous mines for exactly this particular mineral. Peruvian pyrite. If you watched the news this past week, will have seen that there are quite a few people that got stranded up at Machu Picchu. Peru making the news. Wonderful country, great minerals. And this one, how about this? How about a sale priced opportunity? Dropping the price on this one now to only, $36. Only $36 on this guy. Let me mark that here. Take advantage of it because it has those really cool quartz crystals coming out of it like that. Look at that. And it only takes something as simple or as beautiful as that to really make a difference. Look at in pricing. You can really see the aesthetics from different angles like that. And all the difference in the world in a specimen when you have extras like that. Okay, now, I have, 109, 15, 22. 109, 15, 22. And take a look at this. Okay, let me get these out of my way here. And, okay. That's the thing with gemstones. Always took a little bit longer to clean them up, but of course, always worth it to have fun in showing them. All right, now, let me clean that turntable, my smudges. Okay. Now, let me show you in the gem tube side by side. It's the easiest and best way to actually show you a couple of things. For one, the evenness of the color being very identical, and then the other, we can turn it at an angle, and against the white you can see the very desirable zoning. Yeah.
What's the number on that?
Yeah, and the number, let me see that, 109, 15, 22.
That says 905. That's 4 carat colorway.
That's of, it's actually 4 carat on that exactly. I remember that was being so just take the total weight out. Everything else is fine. And the 905 total weight part, I don't know why it even did that.
905 is another story.
Yeah, the 905 is the exact weight of the big one, and the 400 is the exact weight of that one. And which I thought was neat. I like even numbers. So rare to get that to come out. So these citrines, and you can see the zoning in that one. The internet is loaded with lab-grown quartz. And so much so that you really almost can expect it in a piece of jewelry than not. And It's very easy to get caught up and think you're getting a good deal on a piece of amethyst or citrine by way of the price versus the way it looks and the clarity, when fact of the matter is it is a lab-grown piece. It can even say natural amethyst or natural quartz or natural citrine. It is. Chemically, it's natural. The difference is it is not naturally grown. And that's the point I always make to people, is to use the word grown. It's all lab grown. And there's no other difference you can make that sets it apart more clearly than adding that word to it. So natural, yeah, it's natural, all right, and no different than what you would find grown by another, by Mother Nature. All chemically, same thing, but it's not naturally grown. That's the difference. Look at the cuts, though. I wish I could say I cut them. Both wonderfully cut stones. You can see also straightening out my my incorrect working of the information that we try to be so accurate with you guys with, and so wonderful job, and I appreciate that. You can see they're both calibrated sizes. I have a price on these that is a fraction, of course, of what they would actually sell for. And in this color, that's a really desirable color. It's a color that looks very much like the beryl family, the yellow beryls that you'll see. But again, that zoning is a giveaway. Price on both, only $44. Only $44, so you have 13 carats. So that's like $4 a carat or so. And for well-cut, natural citrine, you're getting a good value. You're getting a good value on those. So we're just going to leave those right in there as they are. I'll save you a little cleanup time, be able to bring you the next item. I've got a real heartbreaker, but that comes with a little educational moment here. We'll do shortly. Okay, now, you guys are gonna love the free item. I wish I could have given it away this week, but there'll be another time. You can look forward to that. Okay, let's see, 1090722, 1090722, and let's see what we have here. Okay. Have a look. This is, I didn't set this piece up. I actually did the conversion, and I'll explain that in a moment. All right, let me take these things away. Take a look at this pendant. Wow. Wow. I'll put the dark background behind it in a moment, but I wanted to show you that even against the white background, look at the marquee in the center, then look at the enhancer bail. Okay, so an enhancer bail, you can actually see this part is white, which is good because it won't lose its tension. So you can clip that in between pearls, or clip it, let's say if there's a large catch that normally wouldn't go through your bail, you can clip this past that portion and still have it very secure. Now let me get my pointer. All right, the neat thing about this was there is 4 different cuts. You actually have a trillion cut diamond there. You have the baguette cuts here. You have the round cut diamonds here, and you have a marquee cut diamond in the middle. Well, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Now, when I said conversion, let me show you. It would be difficult to tell unless I actually pointed it out. You can see the slight curvature of this. This was actually a ring at one point, and I actually had to make this support bar. See that going across there? So I cut the shank off it, modified that portion to make it all look fine, put that on the top, and you have a very well done pendant that looks like it was always that way. Now, look at how brilliant this is. Yeah, so the diamonds, they're as white and bright as you can see. They're also eye clean or better. Of course, the baguettes, they would really show up if they had inclusions. And of course, Dave reading my mind, coming away from it as we speak. It gives you a real good idea for the size. And, oh, which reminds me, if you didn't notice this ring before, and this is how small, you know, I could get it on this finger, but it would be tight. My dad wore this as his wedding ring. This was his wedding ring, and of course it's jade. And I meant to finish my jade story last week. Look at that, isn't that cool? Of course that ring can't be sized, but I remember having to get it to fit him, I ground this out from the inside as much as I could, taking it right to the edge before I was afraid I would grind out through the gold. And real special. Real special. I'm glad that it fits comfortably there. So the pendant that I was wearing, I meant to finish this story last week. I'm all over the place. The hook, and you'll notice it next time I come up and say hi to you. But we got it in Hokitika on the South Island of New Zealand, and it is a concept and carving idea done by the native people that live there, the Marys. And I remember, of course, mentioning, of course, the dodo birds and the flightless birds and the moa bird, that was the largest flightless bird, all went extinct. But there were no snakes that lived there, so they didn't need wings to fly. And but the kiwi bird is still left as a flightless bird there, and just a great. They had no raccoons or weasels or anything like that, so they didn't have to worry about the eggs on the ground. But now they have had some problems, so it's stressed them. But anyway, the hook, the carved in jade, was a idea given to the providers of a community, because having that hook, they were big, of course, into fishing there. The island's, of course, surrounded by water everywhere. So it was a honor to be honored with the ability to wear a carved hook. It told the everybody else in your tribe, in your clan, that you were a known and successful provider to the people and to your family. So my dad, being the father of 6 children, it was very appropriate for him to have that. And I was with him when he bought it in the South Island of New Zealand. And so quite memorable for me to be able to have that as well. So that completes that story. All right, this diamond pendant, the price I'm going to give you on this is, I don't know, have an idea in your mind. I always like to do that. And then so when I tell you, you'll be quite surprised, because you should be quite surprised. Nice quality, big center stone, bright. If you did nothing else, if you're a goldsmith and just wanted to, as you know, much as labor it would be to put it back together. But let's say if you wanted to use it just for the diamonds, it would certainly be worth it to be able to do that as well, or modify it back to a ring. There's so many other things you can do with it, and at this price, your options are wide open. Ready, set, have your jaw picked back up, because at $888, it should be hitting the floor right now. $888. And wow. Yeah. That is just a really, really pretty item for so little money. It's just a lot of value. But again, that gets me back to the true meaning of estate and what I think it means. And it means getting really good deals on things. Now, of course, really good deals or insane deals. I could put the word insane in front of it. Be like the old local, some of the old local salesmen around these parts that would advertise and say these outrageous things about how you know, I'm just not going to get that to be able to stay on there, no matter how many times I try. And there we go. How's that? Even looks good. Turn that way. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Let's see. I think I'm going to like showing you what this is. It is item number 1091122. 1091122. And let's see what this gets us. Yeah, so I made this, look, as I open up the treasure chest of this crude little piece of diamond paper I made. Look at this. Okay, so again, these came out. Oh, wow. See, on white paper like this, that's where it actually gives you information. It gives you information because if you can see through stones at a different angle, and you get to see not only whatever inclusions they may have, but also any zoning that helps you. You can see the zoning right in there. And of course, when they're cut well, you usually will not see that from above. Look at the richness to the color. So these all came out of one piece. Let me, I could put these on the turntable, but I'll clean it in a moment. Here we go. And we'll do this, give us, and let's see what we have. All right, look at that. Look at those incredible colors. And they're going to be matched. You see the blues? See that? See that blue even coming through the side? So you know, look at that. Look at the blue in that. So the real thing. This is the real thing. It's not going to be, again, any of that lab-created material. These were set up in, a very expensive 14-karat bracelet. And, you know, when I think about, it's like you think, well, maybe you should have showed it to us in the bracelet. When I was looking at it with the weight of the bracelet, and I was thinking, okay, would all of you pay what would be maybe $1,500 or $1,800 for the bracelet with the amethyst in it? I don't know. I think sometimes, you know, versus what I'm going to get ready to tell you how much the amethysts are, you know, would it be worth it to spend that much on the gold when you have only X number of dollars in the value of the amethyst? Well, remember, for one thing, the amethysts are going to be way more under any other circumstances but buying them in this kind of situation from an estate. So, but still, other than that, the amount of gold was just a lot. So I thought maybe this way would be a little bit more open to everyone, because again, this is another jaw dropper. And look at the weight of that. 8 carats. Wow. Okay. Ready, set. That really good color and cutting, and of course they could just stand a good washing down. But again, I was trying to get as many things as I could to you, since I had to get them up a day earlier, which my schedule mattered. All right, ready? $21. $21. I know, $21. That is why you watch this show, and everybody else as well. Okay, on that one, I'm going to take a moment to pick some things up. I'll be right back. Okay, August birthstone. Amethyst, that was February. Garnet was January. So hitting upon some of the birthstones. And of course, you know, peridot happens to be one of those stones that, made in America. The United States has some wonderful peridots coming out of Arizona. And these, not sure where they are, probably not Arizona. If I get a chance, maybe I have a peridot. I might get to show you, and you'll see. Anyway, 10 stones. These again came out of a bracelet. The value of the peridot versus the value of the gold bracelet, to me, it was really out of balance. Now, remember, most of these go back 30, 25 years ago. Gold was a different price. That makes that balance between value of the gemstones versus value of the mounting itself. a lot more closer aligned, because the gemstones still were within a narrower range, but gold from then versus now, huge difference. So a lot of things that would have been put in gold then are now being put into vermeil, a heavy gold plating over silver, or just in a sterling silver bracelet. And there's going to be some of those you're going to be seeing too as time goes on. Not only vermeil, but sterling silver bracelets set with gemstones, at making it a whole lot less expensive. Okay, so what? We have 10 stones here. How would you like to get all 10 of those stones for $11? $11. That's the way you like to buy opportunities, isn't it? Let me show you next. We have item 1092122. 1092122. And let's see if I think we'll probably just leave these in the tube. We'll save some time that way. Let me just tilt these a little bit, get them out of your way. Let me spin that and let it drop. There we go. I haven't forgotten everything yet. All right, look at this. Look at those. Now, having spent many weeks in Thailand, I got real familiar with the Bopoi mine, and everything that was produced in Kanchanaburi, which is just outside of there, was the big mine, and rented scooters all over the place. Had a really big time. The stories I could tell you, but that's for another day. These really looking a little nice. These would be really some of the really high-end color and quality for Thai sapphires. If you have this kind of color in a larger size, that's a really primo color for the Thai sapphires. And some of the best bargains can be in Thai sapphires can be in these kind of color ranges, because what are you going to do elsewise? Madagascar stones, they're going to be way more, of course, and then it goes up from there: Ceylon, Burma, and Kashmir. So here's a good deal: 3.5 millimeter, 16 stones, 4.30 kilos. So they're and you see, they're not diamond cut, but they're certainly cut well enough to get a really nice brilliance. If you really want to have some fun, take one of these heavy saturation blue stones and put a diamond cut angles on the pavilion and the crown, and just for fun. It won't take long to polish, and then take it off. You'll never want you'll want every one of them to be diamond cut after that. It really makes amazing difference. Okay, here is a chance for you on these, and all of them. Again, that's kind of crazy what I'm going to tell you. 16 stones. Sometimes when I come up with these prices, I don't know. I don't know. I exactly that. I just come up with them. Because out of 16 stones, I'm doing make them $24, but if you do the math on that, that only makes them $1.50 a sapphire. $1.50 per sapphire at 16 stones. So that's where that doesn't sound certainly like any opportunity to make money unless the only way it works out is unless if you're doing a clearance for an estate, and that is exactly what I'm doing, because other than that you would not see that kind of pricing opportunity. And those aren't bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, so let me mark that price there, and that will go with that. Okay, now this I remember actually well. This next ring I'm going to show you, and it represents one of the nicer pieces, but certainly not the nicest. 1091822. 1091822. Let's see. And this will take your breath away. I set the center stone in this many years ago, and that is my connection to it. I did not set the diamonds. This is back when Tanzanite, you'll get to see it. Look at that ring. Look at that ring. Look at those diamonds. This is a cocktail ring. Well, put it this way. This is what a cocktail ring looks like when I think of a cocktail ring. By way of the undulating baguettes. See that? The way they go, move up and down. And then here is, you know how someone that does nothing but set baguettes for a living, what they do? They sit with a pile of baguette diamonds in front of them. And when they're doing something like this, they have every little shape and width, size, both ends imaginable. And one at a time, they figure out what goes in next. And the only way you can do a ring like that is if you have a large quantity. Then, look at when they finish this. How do they get? You have to have, you see this really odd shaped stone right there. It's not a baguette. It's not exactly a triangle. It's kind of a curved triangular shape. Then these ones in these deep drops in it are a different shape. Bottom line is, in the end, there's no gaps in between these diamonds. It's and look at, this is against as a completely as white as a finger as you can get. So you can see the diamonds are, when you compare them to that, they are as white. And they're against an 18 karat yellow color. And they still stand out as white as you see them. So so they're a fine white color. And baguettes, if they aren't clean, the flaws in them are very visible. So not only are the eye clean, but they are going to be loop clean. So you're going to have it in the VS type of range, you know, high SI, if there's any in there. I'm just going to say that in case there's one. Look at the cutting. Now, you remember when tanzanites were supposed to look like sapphires for the really valuable stuff? Well, they still are. But you hear so many other things. A tanzanite cannot be so saturated that the color isn't reflected back in the facets. So, in other words, tanzanite can be such a what you might hear of as being a valuable color, but it actually isn't, because once the saturation gets to be so rich that you cannot see the light reflected off of the pavilion facets, that's the facets on the back side of it, then what's the point? You want to be able to see a stone that the light reflects from all the facets all the way around without a dead center, a fisheye look in the middle is the way we call it. This is that stone. This is that sapphire-looking tanzanite that you just really don't see anymore. And this is one that you could wear and say it's a sapphire, and no one would be able to refute it because it has the colors that a sapphire has. It's not one of those, you see it and, oh, that's a tanzanite because it has so much violet in it, etc. No. This is a very desirable color, and why I steered her into this color all those years ago to put in the mounting. And look at a very substantial and strong undergallery to that. Look at the width of the shank. And she had a larger finger, which was good because so many rings I had to size 6s and 7s up to 10s. And so with her finger in the line of 9.5 to 10 1/4, it worked out well. So a lot of these rings are in that size because it's a lot easier to take one of those rings and size it down than it is to size it up. So you can see that stone set nice and straight because I did it. And also low profile. So it actually helps protect it being a tanzanite. It's not one that sits up really high. Nice, again, width to the shank. 18 karat gold. This is a beaut. Now, have a price in mind. You know, a tanzanite of 4 carats in the day would have been $1,000 a carat. That's $4,000. Let's say in the lesser of a day would have been $750 a carat. That would be $3,000 just for the stone. Let's keep thinking along those lines. Let's say the tanzanite is only $600 a carat. If you figure that's only $2,400, and you get the diamonds and the mounting, 18 karat mounting for free. What if we say $500 a carat on, look at that color tanzanite, on the really good stuff, $500 a carat, and then you would get everything else free. That would be a phenomenal opportunity, just a phenomenal opportunity. $1,988, $1,988. We're going to go right below that, and yeah, there's not going to be any other messing around with dropping the price or anything like that. You know, that's not the way I roll or do it. I just give you some phenomenal opportunity to start with. $1,988. Look at that mounting. If you figured in 18 karat at 3 carats of diamonds, and then the weight and the value of the gold, 3 carats of diamonds, that's only would be $500 a carat on baguette diamonds like that. They would cost me way more than that to buy them to start with, and the value of the gold is the other $500. So then you'd be getting the tanzanite free. So how many different ways you want to look at it, it doesn't matter. That is a phenomenal opportunity, and believe me, it will come out easy. If you want to do something else with that tanzanite and put something else in there, well, as long as you get it from me, I'll be happy to. If you need another stone put in there, be happy to. If you get this piece, and if you want the center stone mounted into a pendant and do something else with the middle, well, you know, I can do that for you as well. Look at that. Look at that. I love that entire design. And look, see what I mean by the sapphire look? That is what I always loved about particular tanzanites. When they had that look. Not the one that was a lighter purple with a violet look. No. I loved that right there. Because it actually mimics what would be the most valuable color in a sapphire. All right, let's keep moving. I've got lots of goodies to show you, and time is going to get away from me as usual, without a doubt. All right, let me show you. What do I have here? 109-2022. 109-2022, and I think if you had been following the show, I had mentioned before, and you're going to see them in the months to come. My client with this estate, she loved the concept and the style of a cross. She wasn't particularly religious or spiritual, but she loved just the design, and I understand that. And actually, she's certainly not alone. A lot of people have just loved that that simple cross design throughout many cultures. So you'll see a lot of amazing crosses. I made some custom pieces that by hand and soldering all the heads that you're going to simply you're going to see a slice and time of my work that no one else will have seen, actually, not even Raven. This was prior to her, and I don't even have time, or I have the ability, but not the time to even do that kind of work anymore. But that will be as time goes along. So in the meantime, this next piece, I actually set it up, but the mounting was a mounting that you could get blank and set it up however way you wanted. And in this case, she wanted all diamonds. I absolutely love the design. So let me show you. I think it is one of the very attractive, non-gaudy looking, but bright and lively crosses. So you have 14 karat on this, and 109/2022, and it's a nice size without it being like overly well, without being too much of something. So if you want to clean lines in a diamond cross but still have something of some size, this is a perfect piece. You can change it to a smaller bail, or I can do that. The bail is actually soldered in this case. She actually liked to wear large chains, so she often used the large bails. Beautiful piece, and the price I'm getting ready to, again, remember I had mentioned last week that all labor is lost on estate items, or it should be. In other words, the amount of labor you paid to have something made or created, once it trades into the secondary market, that is something you should have just the cost of the materials and whatever profit on top of that. The labor, a cost of making something should be gone, should be lost. And if they still try to tack on labor in a secondary market, well, that's where a lot of the meaning of estate for a good deal is lost, because people go back to making it a full retail type of pricing. $377. $377. Look at how many diamonds. The amount of labor on that would make it considerably more. So when you're just talking about parts, meaning the gold and the diamonds, that's why it can be that opportunity. But now, remember, normally we have items up for 3-4 weeks after we show them, or in other words, have the ability to purchase them. But because these are some higher end, a lot of pieces, they're going to go to other markets, some not very far away, but they start off right here. And for a great buying opportunity, get them right away. If not, then I may have already moved them to another market. So what a beautiful, beautiful one. And also keep in mind, if, let's say you love this, but you wished it was white, well, of course, and I was just actually rhodium plating a little bit ago, I can rhodium plate, which is a platinum group metal, rhodium is, and can make this completely white, and as a pendant, it's not going to wear off, so no one would ever know that it is yellow underneath with basically a platinum group metal plating. I think it's funny when I see on other TV sites, and they'll say, to make it sound good, a lot of people don't know what rhodium is, so it doesn't sound something of value. So they don't say rhodium plated, they'll say platinum plated. Well, rhodium's just in what we call the platinum group metals, along with iridium and a couple of others, palladium. So they use platinum because they know people are familiar with that, and it sounds much more regal and expensive, when the truth of the matter is it'll really actually be rhodium. All right, so let me just set that right back down here for the moment. You get to see a little side profile there. Only $377 on that one. Now, let me show you next. Oh, how about this? So, okay, let me give you the number first. 109/23/22. 109/23/22. So many people loved the trivia gift, had trivia envy when I had the big, gave the big blue topaz away. Well, I don't have one to give away, but I do have a really nice stone I'm going to offer at a bargain. Take a look at this one. And again, it's something that I wish I could say that I had cut it, but I didn't. But it's a really nice bright stone, as if I did. Let's take a look. I love the color of it, actually, as well. It reminds me of an apatite, actually, of a really nice Madagascan apatite. Look at that. And actually, I didn't test it. It better be a topaz, because if it's an apatite, I will have, really shot myself in the foot. But for value, so I am going just on looks and making my gemological assessment strictly by the way it reflects light. And that's all. All right, here you go. It's an estate stone, so how about this? This does not represent the actual value. I have seen these stones sold anywhere from $10 a carat to $15 and $20 a carat, and 10 a carat. A lot of people would consider a really good deal. So I wonder how you would feel if, and when I tell you that I only have the one, but look at that, it's calibrated even. If you want that, it's over 8 carats. If you want that, it can be yours for $21. $21. And with that, let me put away a few things. I'll be right back. All right. Wow. So, a vase. Except these aren't not your just, this one is not your usual one. It has some extras to it. Now, serpentine, that's kind of a broad general term. It can be, serpentine can be blended in with a lot of other different minerals. Sometimes it can be considered a rock. Also, due to different impurities in it, it can be many, many different colors. So the main thing you have to really look at in serpentine is to make sure it's not something else altogether. And usually its biggest competitor is soapstone, which is more of a talc family member in that line. And soapstone, you could, the easiest way to tell is, for one, the feel. Soapstone feels very soapy, basically, the surface. Once you feel it once and know what it feels like, you can't miss feeling it the next time. So it's very appropriately named. The other thing is the hardness. It is softer. You could just about sit and carve it with your fingernail. Serpentine is a harder material. Now, this is an amazing piece of serpentine. I love the mottled colors. And it is, the things you want to look for in these carvings is, are they done out of one piece? Are there any other areas that, they slipped or carved through that they shouldn't have? And that's getting really picky on some of the intricate ones, especially when, they're priced very reasonably. Now, this is an amazing one. Let me show you from above. Look, it can completely be used with water and as a vase. Now, my interesting item might be what this might have been. It might have been also a type of, ability for something to grow in there as well. It does have this opening, so then I kind of think, all right, well, did a candlestick maybe go through there, which would be possible, and you have, some flowers here or some other decorative item as well. How neat that would be. These, one of the other things, the color. To have them not dyed, that to me is important. And so all natural colors. Now, what you start looking is, let's go in on like a little spot like this. You can see that due to that shape, that very geometric shape, that may actually be an embedded crystal in the formation, which most likely is. And most likely in that range would be calcite. One of the ways I can tell, or I look for other minerals, is when you draw the light, the polish across the surface, does it change when you hit one of these other coloration areas? In other words, does the polish become dull? Does it become brighter? Does it change in its reflectivity of light? And as we come across here, you can see that light instantly goes from being reflected to not so much, that there's a potential difference in hardness. But that's very geometric, that's very crystalline looking, and that's just an extra bonus to it. Look at all this. Now, let me show you one of the things, if you want to clean up some of these areas that were very difficult for a polisher to get back in and polish these areas, is to take an oil, like a mineral oil, and a Q-tip. And if you just go back in and oil these areas, you can get a wonderful polish type look, or not so much at least of a ground look. Now, let me show you if you want to dust one of these items. I got this from the Raven. Let me show you, and you can use either also a paintbrush for more detailed areas. They great dusting tools, but ladies, you know what one of these are, and I'm sure you have many around. They make great little miniature dust, broom, a miniature broom. And you can just push them into areas all around. Highly recommend keeping those now. Here's the back. Look at that. And there is a marking of China on there. Doesn't mean the material came from China, but we all know the carving industry in China is huge, so it would be something just, we'd expect it to be carved in Asia somewhere. So that would make sense for it to be labeled as that. And there's the bottom of it as well. Now, cool detail on this piece. Only way I could ever offer at the price I'm offering it for is if it is from an estate like this, and it's one of a kind. One of a kind. No two would ever look different. Price on this, again, it's an estate pricing opportunity. $58, only $58. And I kid you not on that. Now, let me see what I have. Let me show you. So many things to get to. Finger. Okay, we'll set this aside for the moment. Let me show you. I have item number 1092222. 1092222. And I think I saw that the incredible charm, the incredible locket from last week was sold. Well, look at what I have now. This is really pretty, actually. And marcasites. Now we can put a real meaning to marcasites. When we talk about them, we see marcasite similar along the lines of pyrite, and often in different crystal specimens as inclusions, and otherwise, look at these little facets. So marcasite, you can see, very similarly related to pyrite chemically, and but it's different. It ends up to be a darker, brassier color. Mother of pearl. Look at that mother of pearl carving. And then, if you guessed it, you were right. One of the other classic stones of all time is carnelian, and that is the orange. So the mother of pearl, of course, was attached after it was carved, and then with the marcasites around it. Has not been engraved on the back, so that can easily be done. It's a thick piece. You can see it can hold whether a picture, a vitamin pill, whatever you may want to put in here, locket of hair. But here's the amazing thing again, is the price. $18, I kid you not. $18 on that. A really, really nice piece. Now, let me lay that down and let's look at item number 109-1922. 109-1922. And now remember, she was a lover of gemstones. She loved gemstones. She understood gemstones, and she collected gemstones from around the world. This piece was really unique. It's something completely different from other pieces I had seen, and they're emeralds. But they're emeralds that were darker than any I had really seen used in a cluster like this. So it was really unique. If they were emeralds, Colombian, they would have been a lot lighter. Same thing along with Brazilian. They were just, when you see this in person, they're a beautiful, darker, nice, bright stones, as you can see, and a nice, neat little fun ring. So it wasn't like anything I had seen before, which would make sense. It's not a piece she had gotten from us, but she certainly would have gotten it from a place that understood and knew gemstones. Look at the cutting on them. I had to make sure that these weren't Savorites or something else. Now that under magnification, they do have your classic emerald inclusions, but I thought it was a lot prettier than many other emerald cluster style pieces. As you can see, really different. Now, again, think of a price in your head, so when I tell you the actual price, you should be thrilled. And remember, you can also always use it for just the gold and the stones if you want to do something else with it. Or leave it made up like it is. It quite attractive, no matter what you do. And so here's your opportunity. Here is your opportunity. I have for you on this. Wow. Okay, ready? Just making sure that I was right. And $288. $288. Now you can see why I had to make sure I was right. Wow. Take advantage while you can. Okay, now this next item is just a quick little fun educational moment and a teaser to show you of things coming up. So remember I told you about peridot, that I actually had a project that I was going to be working on and repolishing and then bringing it back to you. So this is what the mounting was. So you can see nice scroll mounting and well protected, because this is what it is protecting. This is not your everyday. Look at that peridot. Look at that stone. Yeah. Now you can see why there is a different world in peridot from one source to another. There's a certain different colors. This one is Arizona peridot. And you can see the lively nature. Large stone. And classic step cutting. Look at that coloring. And classic inclusions. You can see those right there. So you would expect that. There is no synthetic peridot, which I love. I love that fact. Look at that. Yeah, if you know peridot, as soon as you look at that, you know then that it does not look like so many others of the yellowish kind. So anyway, let me show you. All I have to do on this, right, let's see, if it's not on that corner, it's right over here, right around the prongs. Let's see, right there. Right there, there's some, right there. Scratches, there we go. Right there. So I have to polish those out, and we'll get it back in that mounting, or if you want to even buy it loose, let me know. Actually, if you're interested in this stone and don't want it put back in the mounting, I will sell it just as it is without the mounting. Of course, it'll be considerably less without it, so just letting you know about that. And you can leave it a note in the comments, because I won't be, it won't be before next week before I get that cut, but I will see your comments beforehand. Okay, this next item I'm getting ready to show you is something you won't have ever seen before. And it is something that is, something I completely made. Give me a moment and I'll be right back with it. Look at this. And this isn't even the piece I just referred to. Oh no, I had to get a different element for that. So that's coming up in just a moment. This though, oh, wow. What can I say? Now, I didn't make the ring, but I completely set the piece up. In other words, with the stone being close enough to calibrate it, I was able to find the setting and use the size diamonds that she wanted and custom set this up. In other words, I say that because you're going to get some of the prettiest stone setting, and I just have to say it. When I used to train so many other goldsmiths, I trained them in my method of stone setting, which left you with a nice rounded prong, something that didn't pick your clothing, and not something that came way up over the stone to cover it up. It was a very specific style. I can to this day recognize my stone setting. If you put 100 rings in front of me and said only one of them, Shawn, you set, I would be able to recognize which one it is. It's just that distinct as far as to me, and as far as the aesthetics and the looks to everyone else, you would pick it as one of the most attractive ones out of the bunch because of the reasons I just stated. Now, that said, when you look at that, look at how even all those prongs, yeah, I'm not even talking about the gorgeous tourmaline, am I? No, but look at how nice and rounded those prongs look. You'll never look at the prongs the same way after I tell you and point out how symmetrical they are and how they don't cover the stone up, diamonds or tourmaline. Let's get to that tourmaline. That tourmaline, I acquired that piece from, you've heard me talk about my Brazilian gem dealer. He also has the incredible Imperial Topaz mine, and known him for decades. Great guy. You know, bilingual perfectly, but lives in Florida, and just a really good person. Now, when you look at this tourmaline, if you're looking at the reflections down on the side, you're going to see blue. You see those blue? All right. Almost in all representations I see of a tourmaline this color, they use indicolite in the term. And, you know, no longer am I going to say that that's wrong, because it is so overly used as a descriptor for tourmaline in this color range that, you know, I'd be the only lone man out calling it a non-indicolite. So, still, you see, I don't use it as such, but I just want to make the comment that in the industry, 9 out of 10 times, indicolite is used for this. You do see blue, as you can see, in the color, in the secondary colors, and depending on which way you turn it. Remember, tourmaline has a dichroic nature to it. As you can see, as I turn this, the different greens, and then look at that, look at the blue. So look at the blue right there. Well, maybe I'm going to convince myself that I probably should have put indicolite in the description instead of just a green tourmaline, huh? Well, you know, me, better to be conservative and let you get something better than something that isn't. Big stone, great cut. Look at the diamonds. These diamonds, I even had to put the quality there. Now, when I put VSSI, the SI was just to cover myself in case there was something with a flaw in it, or, you know, a stone, and, you know, maybe there might be one. But I tell you what, they are really, really clean. Almost all of them in the VS clarity range. White, which you can see just how bright white. Very well cut. I had to get matching stones to do this, and she wanted me to push the weight so that there was no gap between the stones. So as you can see, that's exactly what I was able to accomplish in this piece, and just a nice classic look. This quality tourmaline, they're very, very expensive in the industry to buy, and they're very hard to find that kind of quality. Look at that blue coming out of that stone. Pretty. All right. Again, at a 9-carat piece, and that's of course a conservative weight estimate. It's probably a carat or two, even greater than that, but just by measurement, and then I just kept subtracting to make sure it would be at least that. All right, here is your chance if you want to buy a quarter for a nickel, a quarter for a dime, but certainly no more than that. More like probably a quarter for a nickel compared to the way I have seen this material priced in the past. And yeah, so think of a price. Think of a price on that tourmaline alone. When you know you've seen a lot of it going for $300 a carat just on the tourmaline, let's say $200 a carat on the tourmaline. There's a carat and a half really high quality diamonds. How much are those? If those, well, at a cost basis, we're $500 a carat. You're looking at $750 in the diamonds. What would that tourmaline be? Okay, so the mounting, the value of the mounting alone in a, not in a retail environment, but in a cost environment, let's say $300 on the mounting, that certainly would be cheap. So you have $1,750 on the diamonds, $300 on the gold. That's $1,050 there. That tourmaline, if you figured it at only $100 a carat, at 9 carats, that'd be a $900 tourmaline at $100 a carat. So now you're up to $1,950, everything being factored at a below replacement cost pricing, and the tourmaline at any, well, not even an acceptable price in the market, because you could not even find it for $100 a carat. But let's say we're living in fantasy land. All that comes to $1,950. Well, let's take you down the white rabbit hole, because that's where you'd have to go to find the reality to this situation, because I am offering that piece, entire ring, for $1,588. $1,588. And I know that's not a price that you thought it would be anywhere near. $1,588. Yeah, stunning. So, at 9 carat tourmaline, basically, you know, $160 a carat, something like that, and everything else is free. Well, you could slice that pie into so many different ways, and no matter which way you come up with, it's going to be a phenomenal opportunity. And I'm holding out something here for a moment. let's get to something else first. Item number 1092422. 1092422. This is well, when I saw this piece and saw that it was set in 18 karat, right then it told me, I knew that there had to be something special about the stones, and I was right. And I was right. Let's look at this. Look at, wow, yes, your eyes are seeing exactly what and the way it looks in person to me. So I'm looking at this, and that's the way it looks. Look at the cutting. Raven even said, wow, the cutting on those trillions. I know, I wish I could say I cut it. Look at the quality of that iolite. A perfect stone, since we just did a whole little trivia about iolite and its other names. This is one of the really nicest iolite and pieces I have seen in a long time. Look at the weight to the ring. Look at the thickness to the shank. It's 18 karat gold, size 10, so it will fit, and can be sized to almost anybody's needs. And then here, of course, the magic to the iolite, remember, is look at that. Look at that. How, dichroite was another name for its dichroic nature, its dichroism. Look at how it completely loses its color of purple blue. Look at that. It goes a clearish tan is the way I always described it. Isn't that amazing? That's one of the most amazing color properties of any dichroic gem, is that kind of change, that direction as well. But if cut correctly and looked at from above, boom, that is where the other name, water sapphire, comes in. Because guess why? You have water clear that way and sapphire that way. And then the rhodolites. And then the rhodolites. That is the true rhodolite. Now I put African for origin. Do I really exactly know where these rhodolites are? No, I don't know exactly. I mean, if this was a different day and time, I would say that those were North Carolina rhodolites. But wouldn't that be fun if there were such a thing to be found that large anymore? Now this is the rhodolite that shows up some of that beautiful purplish violet color tone that you expect it to have. The cutting is phenomenal. The 18 karat, the entire piece is a really high-end piece. Now, think of a value to that. Think of what the rhodolites in that color would actually cost. In 18 karat gold. Now I'm going to really surprise you. I'm going to offer this entire ring for just what the rhodolites should really cost. I don't know. Look at even the highlight. Here we go. Ready? $688. $688. And again, everything by way of the weight's very conservative. $688. And those rhodolites, yeah, they're $100, $125 carat rhodolite in that kind of cut and quality. But you don't see those kind. Look at that. Look at that color. And then that's why it was worthy of the 18 karat mounting. That's why it was worthy of the 18 karat mounting. So I don't run out of time, I'm going to get ready to show you. Here is a masterpiece that I made by commission It took me quite some time. This, I'm going to tell you already now, it's a waterfall ring. If you know what a waterfall style ring is. Okay, the next thing is, this is the largest diamond weight waterfall ring I've ever seen, and only because I had to make it that way. Item number 109-1722. 109-1722. This is not a ring you'd be able to, go in and find anywhere. And waterfall rings were very popular. They still are. This is not a exact waterfall ring, which makes it much more desirable year-round. It was kind of just based on that design. The largest diamond weight of any waterfall ring, and this piece, I completely, this is before there was any kind of 3D modeling. It is made by hand. Made by hand. Let's take a look at it. Look at this. Look at that diamond weight. 7.5 carats. Though I remember it being 8, I remeasured the diamonds and I just came up with even a more conservative weight to make sure it was at least the 7.5 carat. Look at the size of those stones. 13 stones. That means they average around 60 points apiece. They average over 0.5 carat each. And they're very white in color. And they are they're eye clean, because you don't really see anything with your eye. But if you loop them, there's an inclusion in each one or two. But it's what keeps the ring affordable. It keeps the ring affordable. And this is a ring I had made, and it's difficult to see, but I inscribed it back when I did it, and it has, there we go, S00S right there. The year 2000. A millennial ring. The year 2000, making it 22, almost 23 years ago now. I'm going to put it on my finger since I have a small, well, relatively small. Give you just some type of relative idea of size. Look, wow, that even looks kind of good on my, sorry about that, on my hand here next to my ruby ring for size. Wow, now that is a looker. The way I've priced this ring, I priced it to where most, if you're a jeweler or even anybody, it would be worth it if you didn't like the ring to buy it for the diamonds. Make up pairs of earrings to give away to grandchildren, to nieces, nephews. Well, I say nephews because these are engagement ring size diamonds. A single stud. You have 13 stones to work with. A pair for yourself. However way you would want to do it. That's only if you didn't like the style. But I remember making this style, not the completely like the waterfall. I made it enough, different enough that it could stand alone in its design through time. Looks like I need to steam it a little, but look at that. You see all that wire work? All those heads, they aren't heads that you buy. They are all made and created. And well, let's see, 22 years ago, I was, 39 years old. I definitely was in the peak of my career. I could do something like this now. I just no longer have the time, and with the back, it would be Yeah, it'd have to be a special situation. Look at that piece. I can promise you, there's not another one like it anywhere. This one is one of a kind because I made it. I made it. Now, here's your first chance to see it here. If it doesn't sell here, you may see it in other venues. I can't say how the pricing will be, but I can say this: your best opportunity is right now. All the way around, all the way around. Okay, 13 stones, a half carat diamond, $1,000 a diamond usually. That would make it $13,000. You can start chopping it down from there, because anything less than that is a bargain. So when I tell you that the price on this is only $7,778, it's an auspicious price. It's going to bring all kinds of good luck to you. Between the 7s and the 8, I thought, wow, can't get any luckier than that. Look at that. One of a kind. I never thought that this would come back to me. It was one of my, at the time, a really great creation for what I had to do and for what she wanted, and to create that look. You know what? Even like if you took out the center stone and put in, let's say, a really neat andronite, horsetail, Russian andronite, or something, a bonitoite, something rare and of value that would let all those other diamonds show off and focus on that, on whatever the middle stuff. Just think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be just like it is now. Basically, what you're buying is parts and gold to use for other projects if you want, or just one amazing ring for yourself. One amazing ring. But again, like I said, because of the way and all the matching stones, this piece could be broken down into all kinds of pendants, pair of earrings, gifts for others in your family. And doing it this way, you would save a lot of money. And then you still get a little piece of my historic work from way back when. Okay, now I want to show you, take a moment here since we have a moment, and I want to show you another little just lesson. This isn't for sale or anything, but this is why it's not going to be for sale. I created this opal ring for her, Australian opal. This was even before Ethiopian opals in Wellow were even discovered. I'm going to show you an opal that you will just think is absolutely amazing, which it is. Look at this. Look at this. And wow. And you can see it's a gray base, so it's really a, you call a semi-dark. And the stunning play of color. Stunning play of color. I had custom made a ring because you see this unusual shape to it. So I custom made a ring. Look at this. These are diamonds to go and fit around it. What an amazing ring, huh? All right. Well, of course, in going through the estate and looking at everything, I guess since this is, I'm going to end up taking these diamonds. Look at the quality of the diamonds too. Really high-end stones. So I think there was a client I had a number of weeks ago that wanted a bunch of matching diamonds. If you do, notate in the comments again, because I will offer these up probably and break them down into individual opportunities. All right. That's because this stone, something that doesn't happen often on the Australian opals, but something why I have said they need to mine the material, put it in a heap out in the Australian outback sun, and let it sit and for a year. Because what you don't want to happen is this. And what you get is what is called crazing. And crazing is, let me show you here, is an opal is anywhere from 3 to 10% water content. The Wellow opals can absorb and dissipate that water quite well. It's because they're hydrophane opals without any issues. But Australian opal, if it loses that water content, it can cause crazing. Now you can see why opals are often still tempted to be sold with that crazing in it because of how difficult it can be to even see it. But when you do see it, it is very, very prominent. And this one, it is, yeah, thank you, Dave. That's what I'm looking for. It is quite prominent. And it's something that you need to learn if you're buying out there willy-nilly without, all right, you see those little hair inclusions in it, and they may not be represented, and you may not even see it in pictures, but they're going to be there. And when you backlight it is when you often really see them. You can see one going right through the middle if I had a third hand. If there's even one, it completely, there we go. See that one right through the orange? The light is actually reflecting off of it. There's another one next to it. Once you know what you're looking at and start, you start, there's one down here at the edge. You start to really notice them, and there's one going right across the back diagonally. Yep, right there. So even if there's one, it completely devalues the opal. Even though it still may look attractive by way of value, it's it becomes a specimen. Thank you, sir. It becomes a specimen and not an item of jewelry value. But look at how beautiful that is nonetheless. So what do you do with it, you know? See, you can see it going right. There's multiples. There's like 10 of them in there. It's like there's no shortage of them in there. And it was a shame. It was a shame because that was a stunning, stunning opal. But that's what you need to know. And that's what we're here at Gem Shopping for, is to teach you those things that you may not know. Now, I have an item here. 2 fun things to wrap the show up with. Item number 1091322 is the first one. If you loved the gemstone tree that I think Joseph won, new member Joseph, loving to watch, but first time he commented, and Lucky, you're going to love this because look at it. This is completely natural. These crystals aren't glued together or anything. Brazilian quartz, amethyst tree, and it is done based on a bonsai type of look, a bonsai. In other words, a little tree. And my mom, of course, she used to actually do real bonsai, and it was amazing what she could do with a little tiny tree, or how she made little tiny trees. So anyway, here's a fun piece. Now, because this is old, and I mean decades old, some of the glue becomes fragile. So I think I even put as is. So I'm not selling it as anything but as an as is piece that if they come off, just glue them back on. Just use epoxy, 2-part epoxy or whatever you got. Even Elmer's glue will work. But the epoxy with the quick set time makes it really easy. So just do it with epoxy. And you'll see some of the old epoxy starts to yellow. You can replace it. You can have fun. You can do it with it however you want in redoing it if you want. Because what I'm offering that for is only really what, less than the value of the quartz crystal anyway. Ready, set, $28. $28. Less than what that quartz crystal cluster would sell for. And I have one more for you. And how fun is this? This item number 1091422. 1091422. And look at this one. Wow. Much bigger, as you can see. And here's the other one, as you see the difference. And again, the base, it's all one natural quartz crystal. You have some peridots that are glued sporadically along. Look at these nice crystals. I mean, look at that. That's pretty neat. You might need to wash it. Again, it's just an estate item. Again, if any fall off, just reattach them. And you can bend these. Look at that. It's on the wire. It's made to do that way. You can bend them into any kind of formation. If when you get it, any have come off, well, that would be that's to be expected because of the age of the glue, and it just tends to do that over time. Just reattach it. That's all. Oh, here's the other neat thing. These almost reminded me of the coquina shells that we talked about months ago, but they're very kind of similar. But little natural shells and real pearls in the middle of those. That's kind of cool. And peridot. Look at the peridot. Wow. Yeah. And there's a little hanging bird. So anyway, kind of a neat, just a fun decorative item, especially if you love rocks and minerals. Price on this? Well, I can tell you, based on the value of what these quartz crystals sell for, well, and especially in today's time, it would be a lot more than the $48. $48 on that. And again, just the quartz base alone would be more than that. And by the way, also, if you didn't notice, it has little pads, little cork pads, so the quartz won't scratch your glass table that you may want to put it on. How fun is that? Look at how big that is. Only $48. You know that's of some value there. Now, we're not going to do trivia today, so that will give me another moment here to show you another item or two. Or let me see if I covered all my educational things. Yep, I did. All right, now, oh, yes, no, we're not done yet. Whoa, one of the treasures, this one, will probably be the last item of the show. It is item number 1090622. I saved one of the best for the last. I just had to spot it in the back. Take a look at this. Look at the size of that. Wow. Now that is a vase. That is gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Look at that. That is three-dimensionally carved. It's carved out of all in one piece and serpentine, but serpentine with other minerals, as it oftentimes is the case. And look at this. It is a real functioning vase. That's just my information on it. Let's see if any other extra. This, in this larger size, it takes a lot more for the carver because of the weight of the stone. He has to be able to hold that and manipulate that carving, holding that weight. I love the reds in this. And, you know, if he slips or does the slightest thing in these thin areas, it would be so easy to chip or break something off, and then what do? A lot of time wasted. Look at the engraving even in this. That rich red color, probably due to iron impurities. look at that modeling of color, and then has the china engraving on it, and then the base. Wow. Now, again, if you want to improve on some of these areas, take some mineral oil and just a little thin coating, and on a Q-tip to get back in the areas back in there, and cotton swab for some of the larger areas, and just put a really thin coating on it, and it'll brighten up and really give you a fresh, like, well, kind of like new paint on a wall. Now, also on these, look for any kind of hidden critters carving. I mean, you know, you never know what you're going to find, and oftentimes, almost everything has a meaning. Like that. I'm not sure, I'm not a plant person, don't know what that is, but it will have meaning. I saw some chrysanthemum carved into some of these. Oak leaves, which oak leaf has a big meaning, and the acorn does as well. That looks like an oak leaf, and that very well may be representing an acorn. So that could be part of the meaning to this one. This, look how big that is. That is really has that museum kind of look because of the size. Price on this, a fraction of what you would normally see it for, only $148. It's the largest of the vases that I think will be coming out of the estate. And it's certainly, by way of the colors, one of the most attractive to me. So that's a really good find, and it's actually functional by way of being able to retain and hold water and put real flowers or dry flowers. Also, keep in mind, as a gift idea, to get something that, you know, someone would think you spent $400 or $500 on something like that, to give something as a gift that is only that much compared to what the modern market on that would be. All right, with that said, I'll be right back to wrap the show up. All right, well, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. There's so much I could say about the past year, and so much has gone on, and a lot of me wants to be thankful that the year has come to a close, and that I survived and made it through it. So I hope all of you also will have a great New Year's coming up, and a better year, if you didn't have a good one last year, is in store for you. I certainly hope it's in store for all of us. So continue to enjoy your holiday. We're not going to skip a beat. I'm going to be back next Monday, and I'm excited about that. That puts us into January. And January, my birth month, my own birthday, which of course was born on my father's birthday. So this will be the first time in it will be my 62nd birthday that I will not have spent it with him. And so that is not something I look forward to. That'll be, he'll be very missed in my heart and in so many other ways. Yeah. But I do feel like he's not far away. Yeah. So I love and thank all of you from not only my heart, but from our wonderful, wonderful team's heart. Asif, Latif, and Dave, and Raven, Christy, Kevin, Shawn, Uriel, and this Shawn, and Sarah. I think right there, that easily and that quickly, I named the team and a couple of, they've been around so long as some backups. Got to have occasional backup. That's all it takes. And so do forgive us when any errors occur that don't come out as smoothly as we would even like for them to. But just know, like I said before, if I'm not there, I won't be far away. So just keep looking for me, for the show, and we will always be back because we appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And I'm so glad that it feels like you appreciate what we do also, and trying to bring you the little corner and little vestige of something that used to be a much bigger part of gem shopping. But now I'm just really glad that we have this part as well, and your support of it does help keep us there. So with this opportunity on jewelry pieces, even such a great value that I can bring you, take advantage of them. Take advantage of as many of them as possible, because in any other environment you're going to see them next, it's going to be at a much different kind of pricing opportunity and may not be as beneficial. By the way, in getting this ruby back, I also got the appraisal back that was done on it when it was sold, because it was over that dollar figure. Remember when I offered it to you, it was less than that point. The appraisal on it turned out to be more than 3 times what I was offering it to all of you for. So I was glad to see that the appraiser was certainly familiar with the material and the value of it. I am also thrilled to be able to have it back on my hand, and it was something that Raven worked really hard to be able to put back on my hand, and it was meant to be. So I have my superpower ring back, and I have all of you. And for that, I again thank you for this past year, and look forward to many, many other years moving ahead. And continue to get your comments in, because I miss them when you don't, and we love you. See you next Monday.